super pro. Not really.
I wonder if I could dance.
Alright, our last meeting went pretty awesome. We had another rotation thing where the people were divided into groups and they all went to different stations, and different stations did things to teach them about sort of the basics of robotics. They can't go into the advanced stuff yet because they still have to learn the basics. It's not like they can't handle the advanced stuff, it's just that we only have 3 hours per meeting, so we have to spread the basics out a little more before we can go into the advanced stuff. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get into that, but by week 7, I believe that this is the week 4 meeting that I'm recording about. So, in about 3 weeks, we'll be able to get into the more specific subdivisions of the teams. But for this meeting, there were 4 stations, and I got to be in the one of the rotations this time. Yay! Because, really, I was sort of familiar with all the concepts, at least, but as far as teaching stuff, like, all the mentors had it handled, I didn't really have to do anything. The only thing is that for the, most exciting station, the station with the electrical board, where, like, we had all of our main robotics components on the board, and we have code on components so people could take a game controller and, like, move different motors. I didn't get to record any of that, because for the first half hour of the meeting, we were trying to put the code on there, and it was having issues that we were trying to fix, and we didn't get it fixed until, like, 10 minutes into the first rotation. During that, though, Mr. Hoover would, like, give a presentation about how the code sort of goes together with the robot and stuff, and just a little explanation about what the LabVIEW language is like. After that, I got to go over the board and see, like, how the code works and how it controls stuff, and that was really cool. And I forgot to record it. It's one of the biggest shames of my life. Anyways, so in the rotation I went to, the first thing we went to was in the shop. And what we got to do was make these lovely things. Personal soldering stations. Now, we're not going to use these as a team thing, because that would mean we'd have like 40 soldering stations, which would be ridiculous. Especially when you can go out and buy much better quality ones, even though this is very lovely. It's better to buy like an official one rather than these handmade ones, just for safety reasons. But that's what we're going to be making throughout the period of the next few weeks until we get into the more specified sub-teams. Essentially all we did today was cut the wood, but that still required like a bit of explanation on how to do it properly and how to not hurt yourself. Max showed us this really cool trick with the saw blade.
Reach down. It's one of those things that... Hi, Mom! No, I'll do it really slow. I know I did that on purpose. Hi, Mom! And then, because they're not all the same, you kind of just loosen up and it rolls really good.
Don't try that at home. Sort of a bit of how the saw blade worked, and how to be safe with the saw blade.
We're set up for wood because we have we have what's called a skip tooth blade. If you look at it, there's a big space in between each one of the teeth. The teeth have to always point downward because that's how the shark is going to cut, right?
So after he taught us all of that, then we all went through, we measured a 10-inch by, I don't know, we didn't measure width. We measured a 10-inch by X width piece of wood that everyone got to cut. And after that, we got to sand all of our wood pieces so they felt nice and smooth and not coarse and splintery. And then we moved on to my second station, the rotation, third station, which was, basically, we looked at our wood. Mr. Houston gave us a nice picture. Mr. Houston is another mentor that you should know. I unfortunately didn't record his face. I'm not entirely sure why. You can at least recognize his voice. I think he has a very recognizable voice. But, so he gave us the schematics for, like, where to drill holes for the wood, so that all the quality pieces of wire could go there. And so he gave us those schematics, and we measured and marked where the holes went.
So you got 1 inch and 1 inch in, 1 inch, 1 inch, and then 3/4 here for this one.
Mr. Griffith taught us how to use the drill press to more accurately drill our holes in our pieces of wood where we had marked it. And it didn't need to be terribly accurate this time, so we didn't use the mill, which has some computer thing off to the side that lets you use very precise measurement. But he still showed us how to use the drill press to drill our holes and stuff. So essentially what everyone had done at the end of the meeting was a block of wood with your name on it and holes drilled into 3 different locations.
Okay, so make sure you hold on tight to your brace and go ahead. Now there's a stop set. Bring it all the way down so that won't go down any farther. And that goes all the way through. Keep going. And right there. Bring it up so it's just above the wood. Cut it up. Go ahead. Right up. There you go. Now slide, push that over.
Next week, though, people will be getting farther on those and possibly even completing them. After that was the 4th and last station for the rotation, the 3rd and last station for me. Dr. Critchley was in charge of that, and at the last meeting, I'm not sure how I forgot to record this, but also in Dr. Critchley's thing during the last meeting, after he went through the presentation about how like all the game season system works, I guess, after he went through all that presentation with the new people, then he gave them a homework assignment, which was basically a 1-page summary of the 2006 game, Aim High, which I may be posting a link to in the video somewhere around here if I can figure out how. What he said was, alright, all of you have to go away from this meeting and come back to the next meeting with a idea in your head or concept about how you want a robot to work to be able to play this game. So everyone came back with that, and everyone in our rotation put together their design ideas for the robot. And then all they had to do was like write down on paper, get their concepts out there, and know what what they wanted their robot to do.
Trebuchet, the moving
No,
parts,
not trebuchet.
they could jar themselves apart. Never trebuchet. And that so these would dump into a bin, and then we would have a conveyor with a little claw on it, a little claw with this same design on it, and then this could go in to pick up a ball and put it up.
And that was the last rotation. And that was about it for this meeting, so see you next time.